okayfm 101.7.
Honorable Ekow Assafuah ye otafo mrase bedwani. Me kwa manso ne yankoti adwuma yin free water. Honorable dia che bia so ni ma che.
Yusa Bruminia.
Pacho na mu ni abrabo mboko de.
I'm not a Roma. The Chema, that was Jim reading to say there. Maybe I said that the scene and the remote children for Yankopon. Say, Wama at the patching, Wama Yamotin. Now, I'm okay, so you to be kept.
And then I'm yasi. The radiator so the Mawon Kwani Ahoden. Na Enra moka mo humbo mu abo friends am trefo say o momre na enkomo ho. Enkomo ni na yati bi say minority wo mra se badwafie mo say kwan ya court de mo amunua Akwatia MP fa so no mo ni nye ho. We de wadawro ma court na na mo ntuo no emu de wa hen ene mo ni nye ho anase ni na.
Well, open you see my main show again on me fa check a step from Ghana for Ghana Karimami Kebi Amemono, it is hinged on the supremacy of the Constitution. The Mrapono and no anything team America says Karimami Kebi. Now the supremacy of the Constitution is also it is also hinged on the rule of law. Rule of law just a brass in the DVDR. Now, a brand also at every point in time, when you are applying the same, and here, a pepper payo. I was saying, Before, who said, Ampa, see who are there, pepper payo, and I did it. In the absence of a seeming justice for the poor, for the rich, it becomes very difficult for public trust or the justice system. Since 1992, I think that overall, Ghana has shown that we are a beacon of democracy, a beacon of rule of law, and we are a beacon of constitutionalism. Indeed, one more day, the two media more. Say, Omona, Omotra, say,
101.7.
Hello. Hello, Nabo. Honorable Ekow Assafuah. Honorable Ekow Assafuah ye otafo mrase bedwani. He belongs to the minority in parliament. Adam kuma wo mrase bedwafie o kan ho. Enkuma ye ne boyi eye sanano mote ya ye nokre bukuada no na Koforidua High Court na epempen so kra ba premtobre na wo mde amanebo efri court ba ye se the honorable Ernest Yaokumi a wo ye Akwatia MP webu court na limutia wamfe ni die ni obuo ama court webu court asede so enti court bro for contempt wom de bia to ne tiri so ebiewu saa obekọ owunko wabansa kan bench warrant no wom de bia to ne tiri se eno no se usia no bebia che traffic mu kra wotumi emwa ne de bra de ne ba court bebia obehye ne bia se che oba kra na obehye bia ono aboto a wache na so ntem sankwan fiaw wotumi mwa ne se force bill de ne bra court na no na ni nuanom mra se bejafo a wo mo mra se bejafie minority friends and telephone share munra ekiremu se sa decision no court Koforidua High Court take ye no wo mani nse danyo o mani nse danyo na se tia wo mani nyo no na honorable Ekow Assafuah na eja wo boye nkiremu no na ye behwe amada tia kode ye behwe na sanso enya na ne atoa enkomo no so na yebisa se wamada roma de court ye yi na womani nye ho a se ode contempt etuno so and then once again warrant na womani nye ho anka anamono nanka nyesen. Anamono nanka enyesen. Then again, Deputy Minority Whip Jerry Ahmed Saib address press conference no so honorable ya no won komobo tiasra wa bia homa tum na eno address press die ye mon komo delegate the crowd and so agba mane bi okra say honorable what and so akasa say resist judicial overreach ti anu say ye penchiremu kakra wa eno nto so hunti the honorable wejagba we mrase bedwani our deputy minority whip Jerry Ahmed Saib okayfm madiachi bia eno won komoba no pay wadaroma awmani nam na yentumi monkomo se de se na efata when is mpinu na anope yesin konwa ye bo ho komo then back to dia na me kan about mampeni dada na nado dan kwakufu adokwa kan ye wo Nigeria no abuso yes indeed wo hwe titro sajefo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah fapem a ode to wo pa no a ye beka no kra nanka amambo ni yes sustainable se dia obi be ye a wawie ye won hye ye da wo se we no man no fa so yenya I believe say enka Ghana in particular and Africa as a whole yes indeed enka ye hia se be kwa manone ni akobo bosia wo ho na no kra ni yakobo bosia no on na be kire se de ye ntina ya ye mamu eduane a ye ndi ene de ayenye baby san wo pa wo de nya botre pa na wo de junior free school ban na wo chinetina wo se mo weekend the assignment o de ma no se onye research mfa minerals e wo Africa minerals nya de se wo party asene yi wedding reception asino meka agudi a wasase mu Africa ha ye wo na wo wi a onko Europe any abrochira man so continent aka no onko bobon hwese ne wo Africa ne bi wo wa so wo se befem de be pa nanti ewo sabi abrochira wa ebi ni ha tintutia ni se ye be no mo ye ya sikei se bibia ye print no no awani ya print oban bia dia na se ya wo baby ya print Ghana cedis no ene ya wo baby ya print dollar ne pounds no teye den obi de ye na ye ti asase so Europe wo mu ni Jupiter but wo musika mutumi ye du na ye de mai hata sa wo mtie de ya na ye bu no anyway ma me komre na honorable Ekow Vincent Assafuah na ye ne na wa ahoma so na ahoma ne te koye ye yese nsa be kan biu na ye ntoa ye nkomo no so na ogusu a o kire mu de ama ye sentia minority wo mrase bedwafie gidi se court ne me bia wo de ye Akwatia MP enya no kwan so ano na wo mani nyo ona bo yasam akwa aba fa che ya ahoma ne te koye
sometimes we can say yeah
yeah
so the American your constitution about the truth and so yeah the year juma o mo ya mo mutumi o ya mra pon so mutumi disagreement on be disagreement no pepper price the bekaya and I don't know ya kwa so ya ni as na shebija for there was a certain discussion say there's an injunction on Yeminia and Eskumiso as Nasibijani for the good people of Akwatia. For that matter, he should not be sworn in as a member of parliament. The argument was that at the time, and Eskumi had to be sworn in because he has been elected by the good people of Akwatia, elected because the Electoral Commission has gazetted him as a true owner and as a true winner of our elections na course wa Akwatia. Fast forward, and you say the other candidate on the contest here, that is the NDC candidate, up court for contempt proceedings. Now, some contempt proceedings in court, and I say, who court what? Idea also we say, also will make an application for committal proceedings, which he did. Now, the woman had really said, Minty been penning some that said, Ubia make an application and I say a motion for committal proceedings at the High Court. The court no makwai say some motion and Nipan dia banokra. The bit me team and also the other party kwai monos why they aka answer. Even before, so ube biem ama nipa na kanasem afam yelini na ka omasem, and as commit through his lawyers, and file another motion to set aside that motion. And you see, per procedure in court, so when the motion abano obiya catch say and also obiya drene say motion na dia banokrado. I am bringing another motion to set aside that application that you've made, because that application that you've made for want of jurisdiction. And you know, court need to be a dance and some so. Say application na nipa ne dia ba ne say yen settle dia na aside no. Say namra kwanso, say namra kwanso. Who judge ne this ha dia ne dia ba betu onim no. That you have that docket. You should be able to listen to that application first. I want to say one more.
Honorable.
And you say, as someone say okayfm. That's for that extent. I no, as I'm okay, ye. Isaac buy no. Isaac about what kwadu. This will be on as my man can say, kwadu na Isaac diabano. And you just want to set it aside. You need to listen to me, media na media basi setting aside no. Se nyansa wo mu ana se nyansa ni. Se nyansa wo mu a wo be setting aside. Se nyansa ni mu ana se enam mra kwan so a. Me media no ba to gu. Then you now come back to the main substantive application as a kwadu na Isaac Ball no o for that destiny no.
Honorable say yet was here. Na kwa kwa say atwe mienu sire ne gu apaso na ye di ba kwa no oja ba ko. No kwetru do na emom no e wo se ba ko no ye di ne die no wi ansa na wa ko di ba ko na aka no because Isaac di wa bodo kwadu awie one o wo se wo biem na wo tie me na wo bodo kwadu no o se wo tie me na wo tie Isaac so na emom na ansa na wo betie sa fa no ni mienu no me na ya bodo kwadu no metime be catch for that distance father ade na abrantia no dia ba be dan wanim no enam mna kwan so enti totwene enti father betimi abusa me say anasa father also busa me say Vincent asemo a wo kan say as the kwadu dia ba no emramu no there's lack or want of jurisdiction father ni wo kwan so betis asem no ma mintiu yenti a wo kasa wo tie mi wi a for the bit me say Vincent that's my okay the nimra kwaso so let's go back to Isaac kwadu na wabo wo the kwadu na wabo wo ma minti Isaac na say bibi wo mu a me say me bo okufo and na say me do kwa ko to afiase. That is procedure in court. You cannot say that I have made an application to set aside a motion that has been made by the other party, and you will not even listen to that application to set aside the application that has been made by the other party for want of jurisdiction. That is number one. Number two, say what's our share? Now who they say court now no crime. There is a bit of a bias, and that's what suspect say
term you be watching. And that term pepper pie be bono. There's a minji for the destiny in this say I tell you for the destiny be what papa. You quickly go to the Supreme Court as an excommunicated. And the Ekow Supreme Court said, one, but who is the court to know? A boy Samuel Isaac Dibada for the Dixon. Wabra went him in the Supreme Court. Mabawa him. The patrol who was supervisory role was a high court. So it is our supervisory jurisdiction. Mabada with him. The patrol. I am coming before you on the altar of two reliefs, certiorari and a prohibition. Certiorari and it says, asem na court to know, I can or high court to know, Supreme Court and Tungu, and that's one term. Prohibition is to say, one say and share high court to know from announcing, or if you like, pronouncing on similar matters at High Court and in the Supreme Court. So two things. The docket was in front of the High Court judge Ekow. And secondly, application where they buy here setting aside this one and when you say the judge strangely did not pay heed to a application and they be down and say, oh, yes, something aside, you know. And the Supreme Court application is also. The judge did not pay heed to it. Meanwhile, notice has been given to him that this is an application and just when you are 10 years. So all these applications, you look at the Supreme Court and it's a motion to set aside and says I will was some now Okano. Ya jet woo. I mean says I some now Okano. Sabinansa woo. And a possible send answer woo, and a possible send answer. So for you to ascertain the weight of the application now Mediabano supported with affidavits. And what said? What area what take as application and I'm cancel and I say I'm cancel. So for the next thing, we train no and place applications we no one say Supreme Court NT application no and sana what was also do the media. Who take that channel? And ya say asem nangasan who was a person who more interest into procedure, the normal procedure in court, you won't follow it. If there was a stay of proceedings, and there's comedian and lawyer for a file application, a friend stay of proceedings on the 12th of February. Court, I said the return date for that application hearing was supposed to be on the 5th of March. Tell you, by filing a stay of proceedings application. Said the cost will high court when you know until let's stay it. I suffer dancer. At the end of Isaac, the other two for the education. Court to the person of transfer. When you know, my filing an application to stay the hands of father to proceed in listening to the matter. If you say at application of media bano, say ya papa, I was a father team master movie. No who say when you are so and I say and sana Akwatia Isaac Saxama with Isaac Assafuah. In fact, in this application that I made to Father Dixon, that return date just a timer court and as a registrar and as a baba as a return date see a man in a castle on the 5th of March. 5th of March is the president draw. On what basis do you go ahead to commit someone for contempt and say Nipano what convicted when you have not even given the opportunity for the person to be heard in his own application that he has made to your court. How do you deny such a person who is the opportunity to be heard, to have his day in court? Three different applications, two at your own court, one at the Supreme Court. Now the world court no crown said you wumbu no a Supreme Court was way. I don't know about Supreme Court. Didn't na some ni na say you na so ni no. Supreme Court to tell you, then it will not come back to you for you to listen. Isaac application or the other. Indeed, you would say, I tell you, watch you. I tell you, I say, did you actually? I tell you, I say, Judge be a promotion. And the court of appeal to change there, also me go at them. Me now would tell also the man who say, may you do the amount. And so, even when there is due process, that these applications will have to be heard before you can go ahead with the committal proceedings. You know, I've gone ahead to convict the person. I don't think that this is the right way for you to get a promotion to the Court of Appeal. If it's an open. I'm just asking questions. So, because I didn't want you to question. Me who and maybe a walk Ghana how bit me a side way. I am even surprised. Me TV penny some other. Three different applications.
Honorable Bakonzo Swa. As a me by your brother, your source, your tea, your person, maybe say, for the court to say, the honorable member of Akwatia, excuse me, or the ma, say, why you occupied with parliamentary duties and to own to me Emba court. And then again, woman say a willful defiance by the MP. And I maybe say, Mutia Wahi and Omotos at the friend who say, Omra or de Najuma or Yomra Sibajofi, a year excuse.
In my young practice as a lawyer, Minini say Obi the assembly or die court. And now say yes, some will be a quarter. So Nippon or the assembly call you in Nippon or the assembly call you in Now say once in a while, so Nippon enter my court. Now say the lawyer will hold one the assembly anymore. With the practice that I have seen, there are a number of times that you call the plaintiff. The plaintiff is not available, but the court will go ahead to hear the matter because the lawyer is ably representing the plaintiff there. Secondly, in my young practice as a lawyer, I have not seen where almost a judge is a near basic defendant and as a respondent to be on one move entry and withdrew court into the lawyers who have crown pass them. It's weird. It's weird. Especially when the person also show cause to the court that because of so and so and Tina again meant to be my court. Until the lawyers can say, oh, my client as the Kusu and then a home family. It's a plan of Kaka. Wobano crown for the time of power crown. My Lord, we can proceed without his presence. I don't see how judges would be listening or if you like be hearing matters in this country, especially in our high court, with the idea as a plaintiff and as a defendant, name when you are assembly. In some instances, those plaintiffs, even in their absence, and as a defendant, even in court on their behalf, let it not be said anywhere that if a plaintiff or a defendant is not able to come to court, it means that matters of this nature cannot be heard. It is not true, and that argument should not be used anywhere. Is that correct?
Joe. Now, honorable, Bakwa with the Buamnament, me need for Yentia, and say, quarter day working in and say, Akwatia MP, at disrespecting. One, disrespecting, or Mutrimu, Bakuna, my boss, say, one much not see our Mrano. One ma, I don't know what you mean. Let me be say. I know pay me to say, no, as some no, at that, Kofodia High Court, dear, but honorable Nesty Okumi, will go beyond Kofodia High Court, at the appeal, a court, another court, challenging the Ekow Assafuah Kofodia High Court, no. Meaning, sir, Kofodia High Court, no, a bit media, some no cry. It will be dependent on the outcome of the higher court now, what they appeal, no, Ekow. And you will be better to say until the higher court determines a seminal. Kofodia High Court, no, and to mean friend as endi. And I say, I cry one no. And at what point, and when we better to our friend say, Omra.
Well, at the point where Akwatia, you know, our work of Radio High Court in Yamutra and the Supreme Court, the application one, and there's to be the better one. And the medical culture, it is within the right of an STB to file an application at the Supreme Court. In this instance, an application for certiorari and prohibition. It is within his right to file that at the Supreme Court. He said a number of counsel, and I said a number of counsel, and I said, somebody have got down one more. Said in so and I say in so it is a matter of the court to decide. Now, in the absence, say Ubi Tino, and that's what we decide the matter, and you only decide after you have heard both parties. In the absence of that, you cannot. You cannot. And I repeat, you cannot. Say, I said that they are called the Supreme Court, with their family. My brother and Jama was a high court judge, and the same man and Jama Supreme Court, and the man who checks how all of you have to operate. How can you approbate and reprobate? You think that as a way of the judgment, and with the find judgment. That is not the principles that we use in applying our laws in this country. And so, say, I did a judge in the crown for you, but show good faith, say, on who will be an application to set aside the motion that was filed, or if like the competent proceedings that was filed. And Kamenya shows us a Supreme Court, but it is because the judge, on all fours, in all indications, have shown a clear willingness to do the bidding of someone. In my anticipation, is it really the case? Just to make sure, say, oh, if I know, Akwatia, you're not so fair. Because I didn't want you know. It can only give me that conclusion because a number of counsel back will say.
Until you bet me at say, to say the other day, Isaac, the year example, he said, Assembly or High Court, na say, parties now, one must have court no bako, at the Assembly court, me for the Court of Appeal, and a Supreme Court. And to say, Court of Appeal and a Supreme Court, ebedi Assembly, no, High Court, and to me for Assembly.
So, High Court and the Supreme Court in this instance also has supervisory jurisdictions. So, Assembly, maybe a circuit court and a district court, in the supervisory matter, then you can bring it to High Court. So, Assembly or High Court and now court of appeal in a supervisory jurisdiction and now be here and order the Supreme Court. So because the matter is with the High Court, the supervisory rule I will after the High Court a Supreme Court. Now at the High Court the rule say you go attend you or attend or chair and answer attend M1 also the Supreme Court. But first and foremost, you can even apply court for Ankasano. That is if there is good faith. Say court when you are now more someone will be tea. They said there's could be a someone will be tea. I want to set this aside. I am setting it aside because I believe that in all sincerity, this cannot be the way I deal with this matter. So listen to my application first. And when you are able to listen to my application, then we can now go back to the main matter. If I told you, I say. Now, if you show signs, if you show signs, say I didn't want to say so be the assembly no prayer council. I have every right within the laws to also trigger the supervisory role or supervisory jurisdiction of the Supreme Court to prohibit you. And also, as I said, say at the end of the Supreme Court, court in the let us leave that for the court. Name cardinal among this application is for me to be heard on that application. You need to listen or hear me on the application first. If say when tell me and that's for the next and the application but no that's for the next say what's another about me to you. It has no basis and no cause in law. It cannot be a law. It cannot. And that is not how our laws have been structured in our courts. Indeed, as someone may also main say applications no and there's committee court down High Court and the Supreme Court no. Attend say applications it has merit. The can say the making say applications you needed to hear the applicants on those applications first. And you needed to wait for the Supreme Court to also hear the applications they are put down with Supreme Court. The Supreme Court to go where they are back to the High Court. This is Supreme Court to go and say there be one application for sectoral and prohibition and the abano. And number of questions for us and so on. Then we come back to the High Court. Say committal proceedings no NDC candidate and then I say you so move na say I say a for contempt. I don't say contempt proceedings it was not heard.
Okay. And talking about we speak, the concerns of the constituents are one more Akwatia and it says one more MP. Our freedom to walk about, to go to Parliament, or obey the Juma will be on to mean Tatano.
Well, we are a country of laws, irrespective of how we may disagree with the ruling or judgment of the court. Main country be associated to Amraso. Because in the same Emrano, and I'm a hookay, I'm a United woman. And so, at every point in time, the rule of law should prevail. In my estimation, currently, there's a conviction. So be it. But the lawyers of NS Kumi has within their right to appeal on that conviction and also apply for stay of execution, which I am told has been done. Stay of execution, which I said, the judgment is not the abano. I appeal it to the Court of Appeal. It's a court, the patrol conviction one. a high court, a dear mammy, my client and his criminal. So our convention, the entry trends once. The appeal has been made. The stay of execution has also been made at the Court of Appeal.
All right.
In my anticipation, as soon as such an application is made, it is believed that within that short time, they should hold. It is debatable. But within the shortest possible time, I think because this matter is a matter that affects representation of hundreds of people, the Court of Appeal, the High Court, and the Supreme Court will do us an honor to make sure that we can bring some amount of finality to this issue so that we will know whether our brother is joining us or not. But I know that our brother is joining us in Parliament.
Honorable no pay okayfm das.
Yes, we does.
Yani the Honorable Ekow Vincent Assafuah we outa from Rasebedwanina a bonkomo bringing the time to 48 minutes into 8. Live on OK 101.7 Yadiachi Jimmy.
OKFM 101.7.